Over 1 million homes in Florida are uninsured. That's right, you heard right. 1 in 5 homes in Florida are currently uninsured. Not because they don't want to get it, but some of these homeowners can't get it, and the others can't afford it. This situation affects every transaction now, and a lot of agents are just acting like it doesn't exist. A lot of times people will find their home, their dream home, they'll walk in, they'll take a look around, they'll love the home, they'll put an offer in, and even after the offer is accepted, they won't look at insurance until they're mostly through the transaction itself. And what you wind up having is transactions and closings that can't even occur. They can't happen because when they get the insurance quotes, they find out that insurance makes the home unaffordable. And even if they can still afford it, they're going to be house poor. So the question becomes, how did we land in this situation? What happened to get us here? And what's happening to get us out of here? Where homeowners, over 1 million of them across the state of Florida, can't afford homeowners insurance. If you take a ride on the insurance train here with me for a second, you'll find that Florida had 9% of the homeowners insurance claims, but 79% of the lawsuits. So where's the disconnect? What happened? What happened was homeowners weren't filing legitimate claims in court. This was systemic fraud. How did this scam work? Quite often in Florida, you would find contractors knocking on your door telling you that you needed a new roof, or they can get you a new roof at no cost. And so you would assign over your benefits from your insurance policy. And so they would do $8,000 worth of work and then charge the insurance company $30,000. The insurance company would then say, I'm not paying $30,000 for $8,000 worth of work. And the contractors would sue. These contractors were in a win-win situation because if they sued and won, the insurance companies would have to pay the claim and the attorney's fees. And if they lost, the contractor didn't have to pay the attorney anything. So essentially, there was zero downside to filing bogus and garbage claims. The result? Insurers lost over $1 billion, not from hurricanes, not from storm damage, from bogus lawsuits. 6 insurers went insolvent in 2022 alone. Non-renewals jumped 280%. Premiums hit about $6,000. And if you lived on the coast or near the water, you could be looking at $11,000 to $15,000 annually just for insurance. The reality was, this wasn't to cover your insurance costs. It was to cover the bogus claims that were coming in constantly. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you that I am no supporter of a lot of insurance companies and what they do. There are plenty of legitimate lawsuits that happen against insurance companies. So before you shut this video off and you decide you're not moving down to Florida, you're not going to retire here, just be aware there are reforms that happen in 2022 and 2023. So it's not all doom and gloom at this point. There are some things that are happening that are actually going to be reducing costs of insurance. So what happened with these reforms? One, new policies can no longer assign benefits to contractors that are going to go out and file bogus claims. It eliminated one-way attorney fees, and as a result, lawsuit volumes have dropped over 60%. And through the first half of 2025, it dropped another 25%. As a result, Citizens Insurance, the insurance company of last resort down here in Florida, many of the Floridians already know, they've proposed the first rate cut in over a decade of approximately 11%. So ultimately, the market seems to be stabilizing, and other private insurance companies are also joining in on this and filing decreases in insurance rates. So how does this affect you as a buyer? Because ultimately, that's really what this comes down to. A lot of agents are still acting like it's 2015. They don't even bring up insurance until you're under contract. So 20 to 25 days into your contract, you get your insurance quote and you find out that your insurance is going to be twice or 3 times what you thought it was on your dream home. And so you either can't close, or you close and then you realize the insurance is too much and you can't afford it, or you're house poor. So what should your agent be doing? Well, they should be pointing out all the red flags. If they're your agent as a buyer's agent, they need to be looking out for your best interest. They need to be acting as your fiduciary. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean walking through the house and telling you everything they love about the house. It means pointing out the important things that you need to know before you go under contract. How old is the roof? Does the house have hurricane shutters? Does it have impact windows? Is it in a flood zone? These are all things you need to know before you put an offer in, especially if you live out of state. A lot of out of state homeowners don't have to worry about flood zones in the same way that Floridians do. They don't have to worry about wind mitigation. They don't have to worry about storms that could come yearly. All of these things are factors that need to be taken into account before the offer is put in. This is part of your negotiation. Once you're under contract, you have your due diligence phase. During the due diligence phase, when you're doing your inspections, we're also going to get you insurance quotes so that you know the price of the house. You know how much it's going to cost you every month. And if at that point it's not affordable for you, well, we find another home that fits the criteria that you need so that you're not overpaying and you're not house poor. I can't stress this enough. So many people go into homes and they put offers in and they purchase houses because their mortgage broker told them they could afford something. But the reality of it is, at the end of the day, they're struggling to pay the bills every month because they're house poor and they didn't take into proper consideration all of the costs, especially first-time home buyers. A lot of them go in and they don't even understand the complete costs of owning a home. Again, your realtor needs to come in, step in, and help you. If they're just opening doors for you, they're not doing you any good. They need to be your fiduciary. During your inspections, during your survey, it's important that you get an elevation certificate. This will tell you how many feet above sea level your house sits. You can reduce flood insurance by 20, 30% or more depending on your elevation. But a lot of people forego this because it's not part of your normal survey. Insurance is now your second biggest cost behind your mortgage. This stuff isn't optional anymore. If your agent isn't doing these things, you're working with the wrong person. The reality is, insurance costs in Florida are high, 3 to 5 times the national average. That's true. But knowledge is power, and there are things that you can do to reduce the costs of insurance. The first thing that you should be doing is working with somebody that understands the numbers and understands the costs, not somebody who's just going to open a door and walk around a house and point out all of the lovely molding. If you're thinking about buying property in Southwest Florida, you need somebody that understands the numbers and understands the process. Someone who treats insurance as a core part of the cost and transaction, not something to figure out at closing. Looking for more insights on the Florida market? Subscribe below.